Hi, how are ya? Okay, today's lesson. So for today's lesson, I'm going to do a little bit of reading from the BFG. So I'm reading what they call extracts. So it's parts of the BFG that have been kind of pulled out, and I'm going to read them. While I'm reading, your job is to listen really carefully to the vocabulary that's being used. I want you just to notice the language. Think about what is different about it. And at the end, when I'm done, I want you to ask yourself if, even though the vocabulary was different and the language was different, did you still mostly understand what I read? And so I'm going to read extract 1. So remember, an extract is part of what is of the writing that's being pulled out. So this is from chapter 8, Snozzcumbers. Here is the repulsant Snozzcumber, cried the BFG, waving it about. I snuggle it, I mispise it, I desponge it. But because I is refusing to gobble up human beings like the other giants, I must spend my life guzzling up icky poo Snozzcumbers instead. If I don't, I will be nothing but skin and groans. You mean skin and bones, Sophie said. I know it is bones, the BFG said, but please understand that I cannot be helping it if I sometimes is saying things a little squiggly. I is trying my very best all the time. The big friendly giant looked suddenly so forlorn that Sophie got quite upset. Oh, I'm sorry, she said. I didn't mean to be rude. There never was any schools to teach me talking in giant country, the BFG said sadly. But couldn't your mother have taught you? Sophie asked. My mother, cried the BFG. Giants don't have mothers. Surely you is knowing that. Oh, I did not know that, Sophie said. So just a reminder that you are thinking about the vocabulary and how it's different. And are you understanding mostly what I'm reading? So, and here is extract number 2. All right. Extract 2. From chapter 8 also, the Snozzcumbers. The BFG was still holding the awesome Snozzcumber in his right hand, and now he put one end into his mouth and bit off a huge hunk of it. He started crunching it up, and the noise he made was like the crunching of lumps of ice. It's filthing, he spluttered, speaking with his mouth full and spraying large pieces of a Snozzcumber like bullets in Sophie's direction. Sophie hopped around on the tabletop, ducking out of the way. It's disgusterous, the BFG gurgled. It's sickable, it's rotsome, it's maggot-wise. Try it yourself, this fellsome Snozzcumber. Oh, no, thank you, Sophie said, backing away. It's all you're going to be guzzling around here from now on, so you might as well get used to it, said the BFG. Go on, you snipsy little winkle. Have a go. Sophie took a small nibble. Ooh, she spluttered. Oh, no. Oh, gosh. Oh, help. She spat it out quickly. It tastes of frog skins, she gasped, and rotten fish. Worse than that, said the BFG, roaring with laughter. To me it is tasting of cockroaches and slime wanglers. Do we really have to eat it? Said Sophie. You do unless you is wanting to become so thin you'll be disappearing into a thick ear. Into thin air, Sophie said. A thick ear is quite something different. Once again, that sad, winsome look came into the BFG's eyes. Words, he said, is oh such a tickling problem to me all me life. So you must simply try to be patient and stop scribbling. As I am telling you before, I know exactly what words I am wanting to say, but somehow or other they is always getting squiddled around. That happens to everyone, Sophie said. Not like it happens to me, the BFG said. I is speaking the most terrible Wiglish. I think you speak beautifully, Sophie said. You do? Cried the big BFG, suddenly brightening. You really do? Simply beautifully, Sophie repeated. Well, that is the nicest present anybody has ever given me my whole life, the BFG cried. Are you sure you is not twiddling my leg? Of course not, Sophie said. I just love the way you talk. How wondercrump, cried the BFG, still beaming. How whoopsie splunkers! How absolutely squiffling! I is all a stutter. So, our beautiful, fun BFG has a very interesting way of speaking, doesn't he? So on the whiteboard behind me, I wrote a couple of words down from our extracts, and I'm wondering if we think about those words and look at those words, do you think that we could find them in the dictionary? Let's look. Disgusterous and wondercrump. I've never heard those words in English before, in the English language, and I don't think that we could find them in the dictionary. But I think we could still sort of figure out what they mean and whether they're good words or bad words, so positive words or negative words. So I want you to think about disgusterous. Let me see if I can find it. The BFG says, it's disgusterous. It's sickable. It's rotsome. It's maggot-wise. So, do you think that disgusterous would be positive or negative? And then the word wondercrump, he uses that, I think it was down here at the bottom, when Sophie says, oh, I think you speak beautifully. And he says, how wondergrump, cried the BFG, still beaming. How whoopsie splunkers! How absolutely squiffling! I is all a stutter. How wondercrump. So do you think wondercrump would be a positive or a negative word? When you read your assignment, that's what you're going to be doing. You are going to be deciding, imagine, you are going to be deciding if the words you're finding are negative or positive. And so in those two chapters that I tell you about, I want you to read through those chapters and listen to those chapters and follow along. So I left the video up there for you that you can follow along in. And I want you to make a list of positive and negative BFG vocabulary words, not regular English words, but the BFG's language. So again, this is pretty fun stuff. Enjoy it, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.